Welcome everybody. Good morning. I know it is bright and early for you, but this is the Daily Gems podcast, and I'm so excited because today the conversation is with a gentleman who truly changed my life. And I don't say that about a lot of people, but I heard this individual speak at a conference at a breakout session, and it made me rethink the way I perceived productivity and building a life by design. And so today I have Josh Hull with us, and Josh. Amazing dude, a man, amazing father, amazing speaker. But this guy is just really a professional when it comes to living a life and building a life by design, and really whenever it comes to performance and productivity. So, Josh, welcome to the show. Excited to have you here with us.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, man, I want to go jump right on in. As you know, these episodes are really straight to the point. So real quick, I want you to just do in 30 seconds or less, tell people who you are and why you're so awesome.
All right, thanks. So I am the CEO and founder of the Purpose Driven Co. It's a productivity, goal achievement, and leadership development firm that specializes in helping to get entrepreneurs what we call the twin win, which is succeeding in business while winning at home. It's our firm belief that no entrepreneur should ever have to choose between the growth of their business or spending time with the ones that they love. And honestly, it stems from my core belief that there's no worldly success that can compensate for failure in the home.
Mm. Now you guys know why I fell in love with this message that he has. And if he didn't mention this, but he also, and I don't know if he promotes this publicly or anything, but maybe I'm letting the cat out of the bag on some things, but he has worked in the past and in the present with a lot of high level entrepreneurs that he doesn't mention, right? Like Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, like works with their students, works. So this individual has the receipts and has the rights to be talking about this. And so, Josh, something I've struggled with as an entrepreneur, and I think many of our listeners will probably relate as well, is like finding the balance. The question is there a balance between business, fun time, leisure, family? What's your thoughts on that? Because for the longest time, I was trying to find the balance. Some people told me, "Hey, you will never find a balance." So, what do you think is true and right whenever it comes to that conversation?
That is a great question. And that speaks right to the heart of my philosophy. I personally believe, and what I found is that there really is no such thing as work-life balance. It's a myth. In fact, when I think of balance, I think of like the scales of justice, right? And that means you're weighing one thing against another. That's an adversarial relationship when you're talking about balancing life and your home life and your work life and all of those things. So what I do is I call it work-life harmony. What we want is a harmonious existence. Harmony creates beautiful music. It creates a beautiful life. And the idea is that our business should support the life that we've designed, that we've intentionally designed, and our life should support our business in the sense of recharging us, refueling us, rejuvenating us to give our best to our clients. I personally believe that there are going to be some seasons where maybe we spend a little more time out of the home, and some seasons where we get to spend a lot of more time in the home. But the concept is here is that when you're home, you're home, you're present, both physically and mentally. And when you're at work, both physically and mentally, so that you're not shortchanging your clients by feeling guilty about not being at home, and you're not shortchanging your family by being guilty or feeling overwhelmed about what you left undone at work. So that's really the core of my philosophy when it comes to work-life balance. I still use the phrase work-life balance because that's what people are familiar with. But then when we get into conversations like this, I start explaining that it's really a work-life harmony is what we're looking for, something so that it's not adversarial, so that we're not starting to resent one or the other or feeling overwhelmed by one or the other or both or torn between the two, which often happens with entrepreneurs, feeling torn between their family and feeling torn between their business.
Love it. Work life harmony. That's really dope. So let's talk about those people who do feel torn, right? Let's go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. So there's an entrepreneur listening to this. They're like, I just feel like I'm working. I got to make sure my team gets fed. I got to make sure that, my payroll is, tightened up, and I'm spending 50, 60, 70 hours a week in this business over here, but I know I need to be giving time to my family, my wife, my kids. I really want to. what guidelines or what safety rails do they need to put up, or what would be some methods you would give them to, kind of make the pivot to find that right harmony?
That's an excellent question. The first thing, in just this short little time that we have, I mean, obviously, I have a whole system, and we start with that. But the first thing is, I would say you need to define what you want your life to look like in five core life domains. That's your spiritual, your familial, your social, your physical, and when I say physical, that includes your mind as well, developing that. And finally, your financial. And the reason why I start with these other four first is because if we define what we want our life to look like in the first four domains, then we can start to look at what we need to define in the financial as our business, what it needs to look like, so that we can, as I like to say, build a business as we love it, build a business that we love, and that doesn't feel like it's becoming a burden. So that's the first thing. That's the purpose, and the purpose driven productivity flows from purpose, and purpose fuels productivity. And so if you're just doing things throughout the day, what you'll start to find is that you're doing more and more and more, and it's bleeding into your margins, it's bleeding into your family time, because you really don't know why you're even doing it. You're just doing it because you think you should be doing it. Whereas if you define your life, you recognize that every choice, every decision leads to who you're becoming. And it's all about becoming. And if you define who you want to be, this creates cognitive dissonance, and I'm talking like this is the Stephen Covey eulogy exercise, basically. But you define who you want to be at the end of your life in those five domains. And it creates positive cognitive dissonance where your subconscious wakes up and says, if you read it every morning, says, I'm not that guy yet. I'm not that girl yet, but I can make little decisions today, micro decisions to start moving me there. And so that's why it's so important for you to create that what I call a life map first, and then you from there you can extract a 10, a 5, and a 1 year vision and your goals, and reverse engineer that life. But the second thing that I would do is to help do that is set hard starts and stops. And what I mean by that is most people plan out their week and they look at, I got these meetings, I got this project I got to get done, I got to build a funnel, I got to approve this, I got to do that. And they start filling it in when they're planning. And then they go, oh, when do I have family time? No, 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 no. You need to block off your family time, your self-care, your rejuvenation time first. I have a weekly template, a weekly map template that it's literally green all the way around, right? I have green in the morning, time with my family, green on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and green in the evening and the afternoons to be with my family. That's blocked off first. And if anybody says, hey, can we meet? And it's during that time, I love this phrase, memorize it. I'm sorry, I'm previously committed at that time. What if we meet, right? Because how do you argue with previously committed? How does somebody argue with that? So you keep those commitments, even if it's dinner with your family. That's a commitment. Every yes you say to someone is a no to someone else, and you have to think about who and what you're saying no to. And if your life map so to have a great connection with God, a great connection with your wife and with your children and your community, and that you want to take care of your body and your mind, and those are priorities, then you need to think, if I say yes to this, does that lead me closer to that, or does it take me away from it? And like I said before, it's not always just a cut and dry black and white. Some seasons we do have to spend a little more time in our business. We're doing a launch or something, you got to spend a little more time. But the idea is if you can 80% live into your life map, 80% live into your ideal weekly map, then you're going to be becoming the person you want to become. And that's kind of the goal there. We're going to miss it a couple of times here and there, but that's okay. We forgive ourselves, which is the hardest forgiveness of all. And then we move forward and we go back to, okay, I'm going to try to hit this 80%. So those are the top two things that I would say you need to connect your week to your overall life map. And you got to create that life map to even know how you're going to plan your day, your business, and create the life that you want.
Love it. And that's something that I've been trying to work on after I heard Josh speak in that was about maybe a year ago. I can't remember, maybe a little less. That was one thing I worked on, Josh. And so you'd be proud of me, brother. I've been doing on the weekends, putting do not disturb on, putting those family events in my calendar. I need to do a little better, but I'm making progress. So just that alone, I feel like setting those hard stops, right? and really learning how to use a calendar. Because I'm going to be honest, there was a while for as an entrepreneur and a business owner, I did not use a calendar. I was kind of like going with the flow. But once you can actually block that off, literally in a calendar, whether it's a physical calendar, a calendar on your phone, it makes it real. It makes it tangible, right? So, just some words there of encouragement for you all who are like kind of maybe free flowing and just saying, I'm just going with it. Maybe this will give you the urgency to get a little bit more structure around your time and your energy and in your work life balance there or harmony. So Josh, I know we don't have a lot of time with you today, but I like there's people probably here that are like, Josh, I love it. This sounds so good, but this is hard. As we end out this show this morning, I want to let you have a chance to talk about anything, any resources you have at the very end. But for those that are like, Josh, this is easier said than done, what would be just one piece of advice you would give to somebody who's been struggling with time management, their productivity, that work-life harmony? What would be that one biggest tip or advice?
That is a great question, and that's a huge question. I would say, it is easier said than done. And I think the biggest thing is if it's forefront of your mind, if you're thinking about it, if you're struggling with it, if you're trying, if you even implement the couple of things that I mentioned today, the great thing is that again, your subconscious, like if you just write out that life map, your subconscious is going to start helping you make better decisions to become that person. You got to read it every day. And by every day, I tell people this, it's really cool. God gave us 7 days in a week. You know why? So that way we can know if we're doing something more often than not. If you do something 4 out of 7, you've done it more often than not. If you do it 3 out of 7, you've done it less often than not. So if you read that life map 4 mornings out of 7, your subconscious is going to start helping you. But that's not really the tip. The tip is this: when you fall, when you fail, and you will, I do. I'm a productivity, quote unquote genius, right? Like you said, I work with Dean and Tony and their clients, but you'll fall. Everybody does. We're all human. Extend yourself grace. You have to really think about that if God can forgive you for making mistakes, you should forgive yourself. And what happens is I see entrepreneurs fall or they fail and then they're like, "Oh, this whole week is blown, so I'll just wait till next week," and they get off their calendar. You're right, you need to live by your calendar. And they get off it and they just kind of go with the flow for the week and now they find themselves behind. Extend yourself grace, pick yourself up, wake up the next morning and double down on trying. That's it. That's my biggest tip when it comes to productivity is if your productivity needs to have a purpose. And if your purpose for your productivity, the underlying purpose for productivity, we've lost this with all of this time blocking and these hacks. But your underlying purpose is to get freedom of time, not to do more in your business, but to get freedom of time. Productivity is about doing the right things in the right way, not about doing more things. The right things in the right way to get back to the right people, which is your family. So when you think of it that way and you approach it from that and you fall, give yourself grace. That's my biggest tip. I work with my clients all the time and I tell them they'll show up with, their heads down and their tails between their legs. And I just tell them, look, I still love you. God still loves you. Give yourself grace, love yourself, and pick yourself up and get right back on the horse and get going.
Love it. Great advice. Great advice. So listen, I think there's somebody here today listening. I know there's somebody here listening today and they're like, hey, I need more of this. I need more information. I need help getting guidance on this journey to a life of design. So where would you send people? Do you have any free resources? Is there somewhere they should message you if they're like, hey, I gotta know more? I'll let you end out with just giving us a call to action here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always find me on social media. I actually go by J Allen, Allen Hull, Hull, on social media because I figured professionally nobody wants to take advice from a guy named Josh A. Hull. So J Allen Hull on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. You can contact me there, but you can also go to my website, thepurposedrivenco.com. thepurposedrivenco.com. You can sign up for a free hour with me there. I also offer some free resources that you can click through. Now, we are actually in the middle of reconstructing our website, so not everything is available, but I've definitely kept up the free resources and I've kept up the link to meet with me so people can contact me. We can spend some time together and see if I can't help you further, and if working together is a right fit for us.
All right, let it go. Go book some time with Jay. I think he'd really appreciate it. I know it would be cool to just see some of you all go over there and really dive deep into how you can make your life better and more productive for the sake of your family and your future. So, Josh, my man, thank you so much for coming on. Really do appreciate your time, your energy, and you just committing to show up for this. Everybody that's listening, go shoot him a message. Take advantage of this, but then also share this with a friend. This is a conversation that we need to be speaking about more in the entrepreneurial community, in the business community, because there's so many people go hustle, go grind, go do, but they don't realize that it may end with a demise, right? It may end with more hurt than gain in the long run. So let's have this conversation more. Share it with a friend, share it with a family member who's a business owner. And remember, we're on our way this year. We want to hit 10,000 or more consistent downloads. So help us get there because that means we're impacting 10,000 consistently every single day online through this message of encouragement and positivity. So share it out with us and help us hit that goal. But listen, thanks again, Josh. Everybody else, have a great morning. Go crush the day, and we'll see you right here tomorrow on the next episode. Peace.
What?